Hello everyone and welcome back to The Drive Guide. I've got my good friend Joe with me. Joe, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So I've brought you along today because I wanted to show you this car, the Mazda MX-5. And I wanted to show you specifically because you so happen to own a Scion TC, do you not?
Yeah, I do.
So when you bought that car, what was going through your mind at the time?
Well, when I was in the market for a new vehicle, I was kind of looking between some sort of like a sedan, sports car kind of thing, but I also kind of wanted a hatchback as well. And the TC is literally where those two worlds kind of meet.
It has always occupied a strange place in the market. Exactly what you said. It was a bit of this, a bit of that, and as a result of that, you could never directly compare it to this car, the MX-5. That was when you would get the sister car, the Scion FRS involved.
Right, yeah.
Is there anything that stands out with this car specifically that you wish you had in your TC?
The display is the first thing I noticed. Like, the TC has a touchscreen display, but it's like, I'm going to use the term semi-touch.
Okay.
Because it's still got a volume knob, it's still got a few other physical buttons, and I don't know, it's kind of, it's got a learning curve, especially for passengers in the car, to like jump from the actual touch screen to the knobs or the other tangible buttons. But this one's got like an actual proper screen all the way through. It looks like it's pretty straightforward to use, just glancing at it right away.
Yeah, so you have the touch screen and then you have these dedicated buttons down here. And the reason you have these buttons is that when you're driving along, the touch screen doesn't work.
Right, clever.
It locks you out of it.
Distracted driving, yeah.
But then you have to resort to these, and you have the shortcuts, so that you got one for music, one for the home navigation. And for me, I own a Mazda, and it's the exact same system. So for me, there's no learning curve at all.
Right, just familiar.
But of everyone that I've got in this car so far, they've said the exact same thing. It looks very straightforward, very logical, very easy.
Yeah, it's got a navigation system. That's a luxury I wish I had in mine as well.
So with the MX-5, have you ever seen this car or ever heard of it before today? Did you know the name?
I knew the name. I don't think I've ever seen one. Definitely not been in one before. But so this is an experience. This is a first.
So then, when I said MX-5 and you said you sort of have known the name before, have you ever heard the name Miata?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's a very interesting story with that name. This car has always been called the MX-5 in Europe.
Right.
But the second generation of this was called the MX-5 Miata in America. And as a result of that, everybody in North America calls it a Miata, even though it hasn't been called that name officially for a good 10, 12 years.
Right.
And so when a lot of people said, "What's that car you're driving?" and I say it's an MX-5, they correct me in saying, "You mean a Miata?" I said, "No, it's an MX-5." It's like, "You sure?" Yeah, I would know. What would you say in terms of its driving dynamics? What are you getting the sense of?
Well, dynamic is definitely the word I would have used. It's definitely got kick to it, which is like it's enjoyable, but it's not like kick that's gonna like rock your passenger. It's just you feel its power, but it's not like overwhelming to the point where you need to like, okay, buddy, slow down. Like it's a comfortable ride. It's smooth.
What do you think is under the hood of this car, and what kind of power do you think it's making?
Oh, I couldn't even guess. I feel like I would almost overestimate.
Okay. 200, 300?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably aim for 300 probably.
This car produces 155 horsepower, only weighs 2,500 pounds. So this, by the modern world, is an incredibly light car.
And so I was going to notice it's definitely far more compact than anything I've been in recent memory.
I mean, you drive through town and you're staggered by how big other cars are.
Yeah.
In comparison to this. But then saying that, how compact it is, do you feel like you're tight for space? Do you feel like you're uncomfortable when you're seated?
No, it's like feel like I'm pretty relaxed. Like my knees are quite wide right now.
Okay.
Like it's
Well, before we were rolling, you asked about the cup holders.
Yeah.
They are detachable.
Okay, that's way more comfortable. Yeah.
From now, and I detach this now as I need to, crawl around in traffic. But the point of this is that you can kind of move it to wherever you want.
Clever.
There's some spaces back there and the one up there. The only problem is that they're a bit flimsy and a bit difficult to make sure they're in place.
Oh, is that 100%.
Right? So
how easy is it to
pull out? Just give it a good yank.
Oh, it is a yank. It's not. Okay, I felt like I was breaking it.
So with that, you probably wouldn't want to drink an open cup of coffee in this car.
No, but that's a feature I've never ever seen before.
What do you think of the styling of the car? What do you like the look of it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like stylings of cars is almost like a fine line in my mind, because it's like there's too much, and then there's too plain. And this one is like, it's noticeable, but it's not like it's got any like super in your face features in terms of physicality. It's not like it's got like a huge spoiler, or like it's a wicked big grill that's like unnecessary. It's like, it's sophisticated yet like exotic at the same time. It like rides that line really well, so it's quite an attractive vehicle. Yeah. So
saying what you're saying, it's an attractive vehicle. Do you get the sense of a masculine look out of it or a feminine look?
Do you know what? In terms of style, I think it blends that line as well. Like, I mean, a lot of people would probably look at the size of it and think femininity, but when you're sitting in here, you feel pretty masculine. But so yeah, I think it's got a good non-gendered mix.
Well, I asked that question because one of the stereotypes with the MX-5 is that it's a very girly car. Because of that, that's why a lot of people write it off, saying, "Oh, I don't want that car. It's a cutesy girl's car." But of everything that I've asked of people that know nothing about cars, they've all said it looks more masculine. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
It sounds good too. And then you can really feel, as we were mentioning earlier, how it's powerful, but not like just like out of control. Yeah, still, you felt in control the whole time.
This is all about balance.
Yeah.
So yes, we have a small engine at the front that produces an ample amount of power, and exactly what you're saying, it's not too much. You can play around with it, and you can easily reach its limits and its capabilities without killing yourself, without driving off the road.
Being reckless. It's funny that you mentioned balance, is literally everything I've brought up has been, it's right in the middle of this spectrum. It's like in terms of design and style and movement, and it's all, I think it hit that balance term and theme that it's going for quite well.
So one of the things with the MX-5 is that they try and make everything as simple and as light as possible. So when you pull down the rear view mirrors here, see how there's no padding?
Yeah.
It's to save weight. For the glass in the doors, there's always a portion of it that you don't see that's hidden away still.
Yeah.
In any other car, it's just a solid piece of glass, but in this, they've actually drilled out holes.
No way.
To reduce weight. How much do you think it's worth? What do you think the market value is for these?
Is it 50?
45.
Oh wow. Okay.
I know you said you like the design of the exterior. What would you say about the design of the interior? You're obviously talking about how much you like the screen, but for everything else, the layout, the materials, what would you say?
I think the biggest thing is with layout for me is like, does it make sense? Like, does it like is there just no reason to have something somewhere? And I think one of the biggest things is putting the cup holders back there was, it's like gets it out of the way, but it's a little. I could see that being a little bit of a nuisance. But then also here, it's like there's no ideal spot for the cup holders, but I guess that's why they have them move. So it's kind of like a workaround there. Other than that, it's like, it's a nice interior. The easiest way to say that.
My favorite thing about the interior is just how they kind of pull off the illusion that the body continues through inside. And even though this is just, painted plastic, it's got nothing to do with the exterior of the car, it makes it feel like it all flows. One thing that I didn't point out to you was that with this car, the sound system is just one of Mazda's in-house sound systems, but if you go to the level above, you can get a 9-speaker system that's made by Bose.
Okay.
But crucially, both of the systems have this. So you see these little holes where my headrest hit? They're not in yours, they're in mine. Because they're actually speakers built in to the back of the headrest.
Oh, really?
When I was driving along the other day and I gave someone a call, it sounded like they were right behind me.
Probably throws you off for the first few times you use your Bluetooth
Yeah, it was like being in a surround sound movie theater. It was incredible.
That's pretty cool.
One of the things that really also defines an MX-5 is that it's a lot more characterful than many other cars on sale today. They're tools.
Right.
This is a toy.
Oh yeah. It's funny actually, just speaking of toys and cars, it's I think, remember that game Need for Speed?
Oh yeah.
I think the very first car that I like played on like the first beginner levels might have been well, I guess in the North American version was a Miata.
Okay.
I think that's when I first saw a Miata.
So then, Joe, to sum up everything that's happened today in this ride, if you had to explain this car in one or two sentences, what would you say?
I think I'd probably follow the theme that I guess they're going for, is balance, and it's a toy. Like it's fun and it's got power, but it's still you're still in control and you're driving it. It's not kind of bringing you along for the ride. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, Joe.
I will. You too.